So, all right. So the first part of my presentation is the post-high school planning COVID update. As you know, we've all been impacted by the pandemic. So I know a lot of you heard me speak during the junior year, so I'll start with this update on what's going on in colleges and college admissions due to COVID. And then I'll also talk about other pathways. And at the end of the presentation, our career counselor, Kate Kennedy, will talk about different career options available to you. All right, let me see if I can do next slide. All right, well, I think all of you have heard our biggest change this year is that more and more colleges are becoming test optional for the next year and beyond. This happened because it's really hard to do testing due to COVID. So about 3/5 of colleges already are test optional. We have fairtest.org maintains a list of all the schools that are test optional. Now, there are a couple of things that are really important. And the first one is that some majors still require SAT or ACT. So it's important for you to check each school, check the website, and see if you need to take that SAT, ACT. Test optional means that you can send the score if you have it, or you can, if you don't have it, or you don't want to send the score, you can also apply to the college without the test. There's an additional list of schools that's called test blind schools, and that's becoming bigger and bigger. It's a small number of schools right now, but these are the schools that completely don't want any testing, even if you took it. That's called test blind. But for most of the colleges, if you have the testing, you can send it in and they'll look at it. And if you don't, then you would not be penalized. They'll just look at you as test optional candidate. Again, check the college website to see if it applies to your major. I want to give an example from UMass Amherst, which is one of the more popular schools from Brookline High School. This is from the email they sent to us. They have analyzed 3 years of data and more than 100,000 applicant records to develop a formula for our test optional assessment, which uses recalculated high school GPA as a base. So for applicants who either have or will submit test scores, we'll compare the result of the formula with and without the test score included and give the applicant the highest value of the two. So again, UMass, like most of the colleges, will recalculate the GPA. They'll take your transcript and they'll calculate the GPA on their own. And then if you send them the scores, they'll see, they'll plug it into formula, see if you get in, and then they'll do the same formula, but without your test scores. And they'll take the best result and make the decision based on that. So this is what I think a lot of colleges will do. And all of this is to say, don't stress too much about testing this year, because all colleges do know how hard it is to find a test center, how hard it is to sit for testing and even take the test. This is an example of colleges that are test optional, and they have signed the pledge that they'll be test optional with the National Association of College Admissions Counselors. This is a graph from last, I'm sorry, it's not a graph, it's a table with the numbers from last year's class. How many students applied, accepted, and attended the schools. And these are our most popular schools, and I sorted it by the number of accepted. You can see UMass Amherst, Boston University, Vermont, UMass Boston, Northeastern, all those schools are test optional. So they're super popular, they accept a ton of our kids. So you really, if you cannot test, it's not a big deal. We have a lot of great schools that will be test optional. There are some colleges that still require tests. And some of them are US Military Academy, although yesterday I just heard that Naval Academy is becoming test optional as well. Florida State Schools and then University of Alabama also announced that they will accept test optional students if you explain why you didn't take the test. So if you, in addition, Howard and Morehouse are not test optional. So if you're applying to any of those schools, check on their website to see if you need tests. Testing dates. So we still are in the process of testing. ACT will be given almost every Saturday in September and October. Again, that's almost every Saturday in September and October at BHS. And then we'll also offer a BHS specific date for SAT at some point in October. Darby Neff-Beer, our department coordinator, is working on this, and she'll announce the date.
I can share very briefly. It will be Wednesday, October 14th. We literally are working on this as we speak, and information about how to register. It will be during the school day, and it'll be only for BHS seniors, prioritizing the seniors who have not had a chance to take any SAT or ACT first. And information will be coming out on how to register online later this week. So be looking at your email.
Perfect. And again, I just wanted to put it here, colleges are aware of the testing mess. So they know how hard it is to test. They know that a lot of you couldn't test in the spring. So don't worry about it. It's truly a different year from any other year before. They will look at kids who didn't take the tests, and they'll look at them the same way as when you took the test. So you'll be fine. All right, so grades and GPA, that's a little bit different also because of the pandemic. For the first year of this year, BHS, Brookline High School, will not report the GPA on your transcript. All right, so you'll see your working GPA on Naviance. In fact, I just uploaded it to Naviance, but it will not be reported to colleges. Colleges will get your transcript and calculate the GPA themselves. So most of them recalculated it anyway, but this year they'll calculate it themselves. And our GPA policy from this year will be explained in our school profile. So we are asking you not to report your GPA to colleges on the Common App. And we'll talk about it more in the senior seminars that are coming up. This is not gonna affect our admission rates because colleges always recalculate the GPA anyway. So this time they'll just recalculate it again. So to sum it up, this year colleges will use holistic and contextual review. So what it means is that they'll look at your whole application, at your essay, at your teacher recommendations, at the classes you took, how hard they were, how easy they were, what you did outside of school, and they'll look at you in this holistic way. In addition, they'll look at the context of your application. They know Brookline High is a very hard school to attend, so they'll treat you with accordingly. They know how many classes we offer, what classes we offer, so it'll be in the context. So even if you don't have your test scores, they'll look at you holistically and contextually. Common application has one big essay. That's a good thing to do in the coming weeks, is to set an account on commonapp.org and look at the big essay. It's 650 words, and there's 7 topics. Topic 1, 2, and 7 tend to be the most popular. I put them here. Topic 1 is some students have a background they want to talk about. And topic 7 is share an essay on any topic of your choice, which is basically any essay. Now, the new thing this year is going to be, they'll have an option for you to add a 250-word essay, and the topic is written here. Community disruptions such as COVID-19 and natural disasters can have a deep and long-lasting impact. If you needed, the space is yours to describe these impacts. Colleges care about the effects on your health and well-being, safety, family circumstances, future planned education, including access to reliable technology and quiet space. Now, what I hear from different colleges is that this is really a space if you really had COVID had a huge impact on you. So some of the ideas, what circumstance can be explained in your small essay about COVID are here. Inconsistent, reliable access to internet, computer, lost their job. At least one parent guardian lost their job. So I won't read all of them. But the basic idea is it's not for we all were affected in some way, but that small essay, 250 words, are really for circumstances that were above and beyond what all of us experienced. Another thing that I hear from admissions officers is students are worried about the activities section because a lot of you were not able to continue with your activities over the spring or start new activities, and we are not sure if we're going to have activities in the fall. So their messages, admissions are living it as well. We're in it together. We understand that most of your activities were suspended. Don't worry, they leave it to, they know students have fewer activities. They keep saying that their desire is to admit more students. They don't want to reject, they want to admit. So they'll really be understanding of that. Now, researching colleges remotely is also important. You will not be able to go to campuses, do the campus tour. So colleges are talking about the importance of students signing up for the newsletters and updates, opening the emails from colleges and clicking on the links, reach out to admissions officers, attend upcoming virtual college admission events, and then there's a NACAC virtual college fair on several dates, and we'll post a link to them as well. So there are plenty of ways to engage with colleges remotely. A lot of them will track your perceived demonstrated interest and see if you open those emails, if you sign up for newsletters, and if you attended the virtual events. I'm sure a lot of you are getting emails from colleges inviting you to those virtual events. So I highly recommend you doing that. Now, at BHS, we are lucky. We have colleges coming to us. Last year, we had 200 schools. They were in the building. This year, we're going to have virtual visits. So that's also exciting. We're going to start on September 21st, and we're going to end on November 9th. And all the visits are going to be from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. The visits are already posted. I have over 100 colleges signed up already. The visits are posted on Naviance. This is on the right-hand side, a screenshot of your Naviance account, and you can click and sign up for this link and go and see that meeting. There'll be an admission representative from that college, and usually it's the admission representative that actually makes the decision. So we'll see how it goes. It's in the evening, so it won't interrupt your classes. And again, we have tons of colleges signed for us already, and it's on your Naviance under college visits. Again, to reiterate, important this year, grades for your senior year. We do not report the GPA, and a lot of students got passes for last year for classes. So grades for this year, for first term senior year, will be super important. So it's really important that you attend virtual classes and study hard. Recommendations from teachers and your counselor are important. Your personal essay will be important as well. Remember how I talked about this holistic review? Well, your personal essay is part of it. And then if colleges offer interviews online, I highly recommend doing them as well, because that's going to be helpful. And then final thing that's different is usually in order to apply to college, you need to complete the transcript release form and bring it to your counselor. Well, this year we are virtual right now. So we'll have the transcript release form through your counselor's Canvas page. We'll try to have it there by the end of the week. And you'll need to sign up for your counselor's Canvas page class, and you'll have a link there to the Google form where you can enter up to, you can enter colleges there where you're applying, and we'll send your transcripts there. Now remember, your counselor has 4 weeks to write the recommendation after you submit the release form. So it'll be really important. I'll talk about it a little more in a minute, how it's important for you to know the deadlines. and ask for transcript release, do the transcript release form 4 weeks before your deadlines. And in order to write the recommendation, we need your self-description form, which you can find on Naviance under About Me surveys, and the parent brag sheet, which your parents complete. And I'll post this presentation on the web, so you can click on the links and see the parent brag sheet if you have it. All right, so we're doing good on time. Let me see what's going on. So, all right, that's good. So now I'll just share with you the regular assembly that I always do every year. I'll try to go through it a little faster because a lot of you probably have seen this information before. This is the regular information we share every year. All the information I present here will be on our website. You can just Google Brookline High School Guidance, and this is the website link. And the senior seminars will start the week of September 21st, where your counselor will have you in small virtual groups and will be able to answer your questions and go over your transcripts. So this will be really a much better venue for you to ask any individual questions, because your counselor knows you and might be able to talk better than I am. So this is our data from the last year's class. We had a lot of kids say, well, everybody from Brookline High goes to college. That's not true. We have a very diverse outcomes. 88% last year went to four-year college, 3% went to non-American colleges, 3.5% went to two-year colleges. And then gap year was at 2%, employed at 2%, and military at 1%. So it's important, I always say here, we support everybody. So if you want to go to college, we'll support you. Gap year, work, military will support you through all. Doesn't matter which way you want to go. After high school, we'll support you on that. We have a college and career center. I'm Lenny Libenson, the college counselor, and then Miss Kate Kennedy is the career counselor. Again, I have my own caseload, so usually I ask students when they come to me is talk to your counselor first, and then if you still have questions, email me or come talk to me. I like to talk quickly about community college and mass transfer. Massachusetts has one of the best systems of community college. You can actually go to community college and automatically transfer to UMass Amherst, UMass Boston, any UMass State University through this mass transfer program. You just need a certain GPA, and you can Google mass transfer and see what kind of GPA you need to transfer automatically after a year or two at community college. So a lot of our students go to community college, as you can see, over 3%, and then they save money a couple of years, and then they transfer to the Mass State University. I'll be happy to help anybody else. Now, students always, a lot of times are worried about if they're gonna get into schools. The truth is that the majority of American schools take most of the kids. And I have, in May, I have a list from National Association of College Admission Counselors where they share colleges that are still accepting applications. So we have plenty of colleges, and everybody who wants to go to college from Brookline High School will go to college. So this is really important. If you want to go to college from BHS, you will go to college. Gap year is another important aspect of application. A lot of our kids look at it. About 2% do gap year. This is some of the links that are important. CDE is a great program. It's free. It actually pays you to work. Teen Life has a great list of different programs. And then we'll have a gap year presentation in November. We're working with a presenter where she will talk about all the different options available to you, especially virtually, if we're still unable to do live gap year. All right, so for your responsibility with colleges is to research school, release transcripts, match Common App and Naviance, give self-description form and parent brag sheet to the counselor, request teacher recs, and release your test scores. I know it's a lot, but I'm gonna talk about each one of those, break it down, and then you'll hear it again from your counselor. It's a lot, but the steps are pretty simple. When you're researching schools, it's important to talk to your guidance counselor, talk to relatives and friends who went to the college, attend virtual college tours, and then come to our rep visits, visiting BHS virtually. As I said, they're starting in September, and then in November, lots of different information during those meetings. This is another screenshot of our college reps coming into a BHS. Another way to look at colleges is the Fisk Guide and Princeton Review Guide. These are two books we always recommend. I know a lot of kids don't read books on researching colleges. They use the web guides, but I do like those two books, especially Fisk Guide has different, has more robust explanation of what the college is famous for and what majors they offer. So both of those guides are great. And of course, the most important tool for college search and application is the Naviance. If you don't have your Naviance account, please email your counselor or email me. We'll set it up for you. But at this point, everybody should have it. We usually introduce it in freshman year. Naviance allows you to do college. It has several search options. So the super match, college match, scattergrams. So it's really, really robust way to look. This is an example of super match college search. You enter your criteria, like location, academics, what kind of major you want, how hard it is to get into this college, diversity, institute characteristics, costs, and they'll give you schools based on your criteria. College match will look at different schools. The college is looking for students like you, colleges, other students like a college that have accepted students like you. Okay, and they'll give you some ideas there. The slide didn't come out well, but basically this is a really important slide because it tells you, as I told you last year, we really want you to apply to several safety, several match, and several reach schools. The biggest mistake in this college process is to apply only to reach schools or only to match schools and reach schools. You need some safe schools that you know you'll get in, and also you need a financial safe school, a school where you know you can get in and you can afford it. How do you determine that? Through Naviance. Naviance contains information, data from all our students applying in the last 10 years and puts it on a graph. It's just BHS students. That's what's important about Naviance. It's not national statistics like other sites would give you. This is BHS students. It will tell you what GPA and SAT or GPA and ACT you need to get into schools. And a lot of you are familiar, so I'll go a little quicker here. But green are students who are in, red X are students who didn't get in, and the blue is my fake student, Sam Sample. And you can see this is a safety school for him because he is way above the students who are getting into this school. And you have this at home for every school, virtually every school in America where our kids applied. And again, you can see Sam still has the same SAT GPA, but this is a reach school for him. Virtually nobody gets in with his SAT and GPA combination. And this is our graph for UMass Amherst, and this is sort of a what I'd consider kind of a match, but it's harder and harder to get in. Sam is here among all the other green, and there's some red. So this is also, the idea here is you want to have several reach, several match, and several safety schools. Just wanted to show you University of Maine is one of the schools that really loves us. We get most of our kids who apply, get in, and they do offer a discounted tuition to Massachusetts students who have a certain GPA. They match UMass State, the Mass State tuition. And this is NYU, which is also a very popular school from BHS, and you can see Sam. It's definitely a reach for Sam. If Sam Sample would come into me and ask me, should I apply to that school? I would say, you can apply to it. It's one of your reaches. You can see that some kids with similar grades kind of get in. Not really, but if you get into that school, they're not likely to give you merit based on your grades. You might get financial aid, but not the merit aid. So this is another consideration here. You can have that as a reach. Would you be able to pay for it? Because they are not likely to give you merit aid. And the good news is we do really well in our college applications. This is the questionnaire that we ask our seniors to complete at the end of the year. This is last year's class. We have about 24% of our kids get into reach schools, 60% get into the target schools, and then 14% get into safety schools. So this is really good numbers. About a quarter of our students get into the reach schools, and then the majority get into match, which is where we want students to end up. And then even better is the 60% of our students, so the majority of our students were accepted to their first choice school. So our students do really well looking at Naviance, looking at the graphs, doing college research, and applying to a good, solid number of schools where they have reaches, matches, and safeties. And so we have good outcomes here. Let me just hopefully. I'll go over this Common App. When you create a Common App account, you'll need to sign in. It's kind of similar to all the other online applications, pretty easy. Then you fill it out. There are multiple tabs on Common App, personal information, address, so this is pretty easy. And then there's a Common App fee waiver. If you check off that you can't afford to pay for application fee, that you can check it off here and you'll get a fee waiver. You do need to add colleges to the My Colleges section. Once you add them, then you'll click on the college and you'll see the application has, under application, there's a recommenders and FERPA. That's important for us because only if you sign that recommenders and FERPA section, then we can send your transcripts and our recommendations and teacher recommendations to the college. So it's really important that you add a college to Common App and go to recommenders and FERPA and complete release authorization. When you click on it, you'll see the FERPA form acknowledge that every school that I have attended may release all requested record. And then it's really important here, and I want you to listen to this. This is a question if you waive your right to review all recommendations supporting documents. Colleges expect you to waive your right to review it. They see all the recommendations from teachers and from counselors as being more forthright if they know students will not review it afterwards. All right, it's your right to choose, but we recommend that you waive your right. Now, if you don't waive your right, it's really hard for me to reset it for you. So you need to be really careful here. And then you check off you understand my waiver and just press save and close. And this will link your Common App will now be ready to link to your Naviance. So you go back to Naviance, click on colleges I'm applying to, and it will ask you to link your Naviance with your Common App, and all you need to do is put in the same email address as you used on Common App and your date of birth. And then the two are linked. They're actually made by the same firm, so it's kind of easy to link them. All you need to do is put into Naviance your Common App email account, put your date of birth, they're linked, and then we can send documents from Naviance to Common App to your colleges directly. Again, this is kind of technical, and I'll be having more seminars like this where I'll go over it, and your counselor will have seminars. So we'll definitely support the students through this. We've been doing it for years, so it's actually not that hard. There's another application out there, it's called Coalition App. We recommend that you apply everywhere through Common App. The only school that is not accepting Common App is accepting only Coalition is University of Washington. So if you're applying there, email your counsel, email me, will help you, but the rest of the schools, please apply for Common App. Release your transcripts to schools 4 weeks before the deadline. As I mentioned before, these are our deadlines. They'll be posted everywhere on our website. We'll send them to you as well. If you have a college deadline on October 15th, you want to release by Monday, September 21st. And again, you release your transcripts by going to that Aspen account, signing up for your counsel's page, and completing the Google form. And then your counselor needs a parent brag sheet, There's a link here, and it's just a simple document where your parent can brag about you, say, mention some of the things you've done, which we might not know. And much more important, student self-description form. And that's on Naviance under About Me and My Surveys. And then again, fill out the sign release form on Canvas. I'm almost done here. So we'll, another thing is to ask the teacher for recommendation. At BHS, you cannot enter the teachers in Naviance. You have to ask them and they add you on Naviance and they submit it. So all you need to do is ask the teacher. And we recommend that you don't ask more than 2 teachers for recommendations. All right. And again, I just covered this topic. There's an option to add other recommender through Common App. Again, if you have somebody who knows you really well, you can add that. It can be a clergy coach. Colleges usually don't like it unless it's somebody who knows you really, really well. So just make sure it'll be a good recommendation if you add an other recommender. And a lot of colleges now don't even allow you to add another recommender. And this is again the fair test site. If you need, if you cannot take testing, or if you didn't do well in testing, or you just don't want to do it, go fair test, and you'll see most of the colleges again. The list is now exceeds 1,450 schools that would not accept that you can apply without test scores. However, if you did take SATs and ACTs, you need to release them yourself. We don't send the scores through Naviance. We don't send it with transcript. You need to send them, and you can do it through College Board or ACT students. And a lot of colleges now will allow you to report your scores through Common App and then wait till admission decision to send it through College Board or ACT students, because you need to pay to release the scores, but you need to check with the college if they allow that. But otherwise, you can just go on College Board and send all your scores out. And my last 3 slides, I'll just really quickly go over. Regular decision is when you apply by January, usually by January 15th, and can be later. You get a decision by April 1st. You have time to compare financial aid, visit schools. You have to choose by May 1st. Early action, you apply by November 15th usually. You hear by December 15th. You have time to compare financial aid, visit schools, and you choose by May 1st as well. So for regular decision and for early action, there is no limit on how many schools you can apply for. Early decision, you apply to only 1 school. You usually apply by November 1st, get decision by December 15th, and then you can't choose because the decision is binding. So you have to go to the school you applied for. So it's really important that you choose a school that you can afford, because usually early decision schools give you less financial aid. And it's important to find a school that you kind of is in your target and your match, or you're close to being accepted, because it's otherwise you'll be wasting your early decision on a school where if it's a complete reach, it's hard to get in. And again, we'll go over it again in the seminars. And I'll stop with this slide. We have a PTO college essay workshop on October 4th at 12 and at 2:30. You can register by scanning this Scantron thing. And I always recommend writing several rough essays and then choosing one to edit.